Hello.
We're getting ready to get started. We just wanted to
Making sure.
set up the phone.
I think that's good.
Get it good to go.
Is that good? What do you think?
Hello. Is anybody gonna join us?
Do we want to tilt it where it's closer to our table so she's not walking on the screen?
Yeah, maybe. Oh, maybe not that close.
Well, no, we don't want to get that.
Hey, friends.
Is that good?
I mean, this kind of boxes her in where she has to stand.
Well, we can back it up a little bit. Sorry, people.
We're trying to get adjusted.
That's probably good.
How is everybody?
Say hello. Where you're watching
She's going to
from.
start in just a minute. We're going to give everybody a chance to find the video, and we're going to get going.
It's like it's raining outside. Emily, are we going to get your storms?
Probably.
We can edit this later when we...
Hey, everybody.
We're just waiting for some people to come in and sit down. You know how they are. They get talking.
Tell us where you're watching from, you guys. Hey, everybody.
There's 14, so we got quite a few.
Yeah.
All right. Should I tell her to...
Hop on and say hello and tell us where you're watching from tonight. Hey, Brandy. No. Hey, Karen. How are you? Okay, good. Miss Greta's watching from over the mountain. Go tell her we're on. We're giving everybody a chance to hop on. We're gonna get started really soon. The video's already going. Jane is watching from Wisconsin. Awesome. Hi.
Hey, everybody. So good to see you tonight.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Who
Hey,
is that?
Lisa.
Let me see. Oh, that's Miss Lisa.
Fran from Georgia.
Hi. Is that going to work with me standing up straight? Candace, can this go any higher? I got wedges on. I guess I have to stand back. That's fine. Hi, Deanna. So good to see you guys. Did you show them around where we are?
No.
We are at the Pink Pig, so it's an adorable... Oh, sorry. Hi, Jennifer. We are at this adorable pottery place, and the owner of it, Melody, is one of our oils girls. Hi, Carrie Lynn. North Dakota. Did I know you lived there? Do you live there? Can you guys hear me okay, by the way? Candace, can we do anything to get it higher?
Look, it's perfect when I was standing there. So just step back. I think if you step back.
Oh,
Why did it look so good before?
I don't know. I guess I'll just have to stand right here. Okay.
I don't think you want just the top of your head.
No. There we go. That looks a little more straight on. Hi,
Yeah, I
Lisa.
think that's
Oh, the
fine.
sound is okay? Yes, we can hear and see you. Thank you, Fran. Hi, Corinne. So
I think
good to
that's
see you
good.
guys. Okay. Sounds good.
A little bit of a delay.
We will get started, I think.
Oh my gosh, people.
It's okay. It's all right. All right. Hi, everybody. How are y'all doing? So good to see you. Some friends I don't think I know, but I'm glad y'all are here. We are live streaming this too, so we will talk to them and talk to everybody. Hi, Kathy. Anybody that this is your first class, either online or here in person? First class? Anybody? Oh, yay. Welcome. So good. We are doing a back to school with no fear, or could call it back to fall with no fear. If you're not going back to school or you don't have little ones, going back to school. I taught a version of this class last year, and I think it was really helpful just going into a season like we're going into in the world that we're living in, just having some tools to really arm ourselves with so we just don't live in fear. I want to start really quick by reading a quote from C.S. Lewis, and I think this will be a really good way to kind of set the tone for tonight. Okay. C.S. Lewis is my favorite author, thinker, and he lived during a time that the world felt crazy too. And the thing that was going on during his time is the threat of the atomic bomb. So everybody was obsessed with, oh my gosh, are we going to get bombed at any time? And so people were living in a lot of fear. He said, in one way, we think a great deal too much about the atomic bomb. How are we to live in an atomic age? I am tempted to reply, why, as you would have lived in the 16th century, when the plague visited London almost every year, or as you would have lived in the Viking Age, when raiders from Scandinavia might land and cut your throat, or indeed, as you are already living in an age of cancer, of syphilis, of paralysis, of air raids, of railway accidents. In other words, do not let us begin by exaggerating the novelty of our situation. Believe me, dear sir or madam, you and all whom you love were already sentenced to death before the atomic bomb was invented, and quite a high percentage of us were going to die in unpleasant ways. We had indeed one very great advantage over our ancestors. We do have anesthetics, but we still have the certainty that we all will perish. It's perfectly ridiculous to go about whimpering and drawing long faces because the scientists have added one more chance of painful and premature death to a world which had already bristled with such chances, and in which death itself has always been a certainty. This is the first point to be made, and the first action to be taken. If we all are to be destroyed by an atomic bomb, let that bomb find us when it comes doing sensible and human things. Praying, working, teaching, reading, listening to music, bathing the children, playing tennis, chatting with our friends over an oils class. That's not what he said. Not huddled together like frightened sheep and thinking about bombs. They may break our bodies, but they need not dominate our minds. And so I want to start with that because I think it just gives us a good grounding place that we're not the first people to live in trying times. And that we, especially as believers, have a hope that no matter what happens, God is for us. He loves us. He loves the people who suffer better than we love them. He loves our families more than we do. And that deep, abiding peace that he gives us, that all will be well. And I want to start with that because we're going to share some fun tools tonight that I think you're going to be excited about. I'm going to share, I brought my, I'm tempted to call it my virus box, but my toolbox, my back to fall without fear box. So I'm going to share with you what I keep on hand to keep us as healthy as we can be. And even sometimes, as you know, when you do all the things, you still get sick. And sometimes it doesn't end well. And we all know that that's a possibility. But I just want you to keep this deep, abiding faith that God is for us and he loves us. And to be absent with the body is to be present with the Lord. And there has always been all the threat that there is right now. And to live in fear actually keeps us from sharing ourselves with the world. It keeps us from giving our gifts. It keeps us from doing the things he's called us to do, which is to love him and to love our neighbor as ourselves. And I love equipping us all so that we don't have to live in that fear, so that we keep that faith. It's just a reminder to us to keep the faith. The first way that I keep the faith and go back to fall without no fear. This one is going to sound funny to some of you. Turn off the news and go outside. Can I get an amen? I got in this habit a long time ago of letting my husband do the filtering of all the world events. So I stay in my lane and I serve my family and I do my thing, and then I'll let him tell me a few things here and there. Okay, what's going on? That's not quite true. I do like to keep up on a lot of medical studies because I am a physician, and so I do read a lot of studies. I've read a lot of studies on what's going on in the world right now. So I do like to be informed about that because that actually helps me not live in so much fear and helps me stay equipped. Like, how can I help people? What can I learn, where I can teach a class where it will equip people with things that will really help them. So I do keep up on that, but I would suggest that if you have trouble staying grounded in the belief that all is well and that God is for us and he loves us and this is no surprise to him and he's not wringing his hands in heaven, he has peace and he has come to give us peace. If you have trouble staying grounded in that, then I would suggest limiting the amount that you let all of that come in, because it steals your peace. And then what happens is that you make the very thing come true you're afraid of. You're afraid of not living, but then you don't live. Right? Don't we do that? So we make it come true now. We just don't live our lives now. And so I love equipping people to be able to really fully live. So the other reason that I say to go outside is because there's so many good things outside. And when I started down my journey of natural health, I did a lot of research on the things that make us not well. And most of them are inside our houses. And if you look at the statistics of how we live our lives, we spend 93% of our time indoors. And all of the good things that he made for us are outdoors. The sunshine, all the trees and shrubs that give off these amazing essential oils that we're going to talk about tonight. The benefits that you get from the sunshine, the benefits that you get from the exercise of just being outside. And add to that the fact that we put ourselves indoors and then we fill up our homes with toxic candles and toxic room sprays and personal care products that are toxic to our hormones and our thyroid, cleaning products that make it very difficult for us to breathe. Have you ever gone in your shower and tried to clean your shower and then you can't breathe and you have to actually leave the shower? So we fill our homes with things that aren't good for us, and then we stay in there. We shut the doors really tight and stay in there. And especially in the South when it's really hot, it's just easy to do that. So it's about to get better here. I know it feels like we're living at the surface of the sun, but it's about to get better. Go outside more. Get all that vitamin D. One of the things that keeps you well in respiratory virus season is adequate vitamin D, and 80% of us don't have adequate vitamin D. 80% of Americans don't have adequate vitamin D, and if you go research how people who have low vitamin D fare with respiratory viruses, it's not good. So we need the vitamin D from outside. We're going to talk about supplements in a little bit, but I just want you to remember that you can get amazing benefits from what's actually the stuff God made that is actually outside. And it's funny too, because it has been a good reminder to me that when God created us, he put us where? In a garden, in a beautiful garden, because that's where the food that he made is, and that's where the trees and shrubs and flowers that give off these amazing healing molecules are. So he put us in a garden, and yet we spend very little of our time there now. So how can we be very careful about what we take in when we're indoors? Clean up our indoors as much as possible. Listen, you can get rid of so many toxins in your house just with a diffuser and a starter kit. So many. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. So my first thing is be way more conscious of what's in your house Go outside more. Turn off the news. The second thing that, and I always start, this is part of all my classes. If you come to my classes, you know this. I am not here to say, oh, you can do whatever you want and then just use this stuff and it's like magic unicorn drops and everything will be fine. Very much the most important thing that you do for your health is what you eat. So the supplements that I'm going to share with you later don't work very well if you have a terrible diet. They just don't. And if you look at the risk factors for respiratory viruses, anybody know what the number one risk factor for you having a bad outcome with respiratory virus? Sandra. Yeah. Specifically, your waist circumference. And I just taught a class last month called Unlock Your Metabolism, and the whole class was about waist circumference. The way you unlock your metabolism is you lower your insulin level. So you can look at waist circumference. If your waist circumference, everybody should go home and measure tonight. If you're a female and your waist circumference is over 31, you're already in a risk category. If it's over 35, then you for sure have insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. So first thing we got to do is get insulin under control. Does anybody know how to do that? What spikes insulin? Sugar. What else spikes insulin? Stress. You can have insulin resistance from stress. So if you live your life in chronic overwhelm, hustle mode, gotta do this, listen to the news, oh my gosh, that right there will do it. So stress, sugar in the diet, the best thing you can do for yourself, if you take only one thing away from this class, cut sugar as much as you can from your diet, you will watch your insulin go down and your waistline go down. And when that goes down, that means your body is starting to be metabolically healthy. Insulin, when it's too high, obviously it's a hormone that we need. It takes the sugar from your blood into your cells. But when you have so much sugar, the insulin stops listening. It's like, there's too much sugar here. I can't do this. So the insulin just goes higher and higher and higher. And when you have high insulin, I should show you, these girls are measuring their waistline. And when you have high insulin, when you have high insulin, your body can't burn fat, and it makes you metabolically unhealthy, which makes you at risk for respiratory viruses, specifically. So the best thing you can do is cut sugar. Pick a day of the week where you go, oh, on Saturdays, I'm going to have a little treat or whatever. But, I spent the first 45, maybe 43 years of my life living on sugar and coffee. Anybody here want to confess? And yeah, it's how I got through med school. And so it's a terrible way. It's a terrible habit to develop. And so it's really important. Second thing, besides what you eat, which means really reduce your sugar, the other thing that I tell people, food is not complicated, you guys. Eat what God made. So I want you to think about the grocery store. Where's all the food he made? When you walk in Ingles, everybody go in Ingles. It's on the outside edge, right? So if you're making food complicated and you're in the middle aisle reading things and going, I just don't know, it says it has 3 grams. First of all, the food God made doesn't have anything to read. So if you're reading too much, my patients, when I used to be a family doctor, my patients were like, well, I'm in the grocery store for an hour and a half reading labels. I'm like, that tells me you're buying the wrong thing, because the food he made doesn't have labels. You don't have to read anything. When's the last time you saw it? There's not very much to read on a steak. There's not anything to read on an apple, right? And so if you're eating food that he made, it's easy. So eat food that he made, keep your sugar low, which keeps your insulin low, which keeps your waistline low. Second thing is, anybody else know how to get their insulin under control? Less sugar, less stress. We got to build muscle. Muscle tissue is the tissue of longevity. If you want to live a long time, you need to build muscle because muscle is the tissue where insulin is very sensitive. So they've done these studies, you know, like I used to be really sad about being in the Thunder Thigh Club. I'm like, I got some thighs, like I got some quads. If you could see my legs without, if I had shorts on, like it's like I got some thighs. And you know, like you can go through periods of your life where you're like, I just wish I was skinny, like all the skinny girls. Now, after all the studies that I read about muscle tissue and longevity, I'm like, thank you for these thunder thighs, Lord. I'm so grateful that I did gymnastics and I built a lot of muscle, and I still to this day went to the gym today, did a bunch of weight training. So if you're not doing some kind of weight training, do that. At the very least, start moving. If weight training feels overwhelming, just start moving. Any movement will help. And we have to start somewhere. If you set the bar too high, it will feel like, oh, I can't, it's just too much, I can't do it. So just pick small goals. Just give up one little thing. I started my whole journey by giving up Diet Coke. It felt impossible to me to not drink 4 Diet Cokes a day. But once I got over that hurdle, I was like, oh, wow, I feel so much better. I have so much less joint pain. I have more energy. I had a lot of issues just from the artificial sweeteners in the Diet Coke. So just pick the lowest hanging fruit. If you're having Little Debbie cakes every morning for breakfast, that's the thing to start with. And everybody knows, like when I say that, everybody knows what their thing is. Like, oh, dang it, I shouldn't probably, you know, pick your thing. Just pick one thing and try that for a month or two. Start getting some movement in. You guys, the point of this is we have to take responsibility for ourselves. We have to take responsibility for the number that we get when we do the measurement. We can say to ourselves, I'm big boned. I used to say that all the time. I'm just big boned. Turns out not really. Turns out if you could just look at all of our bones, they're all about the same. None of us are really big boned, right? And so these lies that we tell ourselves, like, no, I'm just this way, keep us from really doing what we know we could do. And once we take responsibility for it and go, I'm creating that for myself. I think a lot of times in a situation like this, we want to feel like there's some kind of rescue, some kind of easy like solution, or some easy like, you know, don't you sometimes feel like, just tell me what to do. Just tell me something real easy to do, right? And real life and real amazing results in your life don't come from that. It comes from small, consistent changes over time. Like I grew up with a single mom, and the only food we ever had was junk food. Like the only thing we ever ate was like Cocoa Puffs. Like if we had Cocoa Puffs left in the box, 100% that's what I'm having for dinner when I was, you know, growing up. Chef Boyardee, like frozen pizzas. We never had real food. It's taken me my whole life to like train myself to like real food. But then once you do that, you're like, actually, apples are pretty darn good when I'm not eating Swiss cake rolls all the time. So those lifestyle changes are the key, and it's taking responsibility for ourselves. How can I take responsibility for me and start to live my healthiest life, my best self? Stop expecting that the drug companies are going to do it for us. Listen, I spent my whole training learning about drugs, and I can tell you that very, very few of them are really effective without having a lot of side effects. And I know we sometimes need them for short periods of time. I'm thankful for them when we need them. But you cannot build a healthy life on prescription drugs and surgeries. You can't. You got to build a healthy life the way God intended, which is movement, food He made, reduce your stress, get some sleep. A lot of times we don't prioritize that either. It sounds so simple. But I read a book a couple of years ago called Why We Sleep. And if you get 6.5 hours of sleep per night, how many of you would say that you get less than 7 hours of sleep per day? Oh, y'all are so good. Okay, we got one. I lived my whole life going, I'm just like Martha Stewart. All I need is 4 or 5 hours. It's fine. And I did that until my health totally crashed. And my adrenals crashed and my thigh. They told me I had all kinds of things wrong with me. Turns out what I had wrong with me was Diet Coke, no sleep, too much sugar. It's all lifestyle. So they can give me a bunch of drugs to fix every different thing, right? But if I don't do the work to fix what's really wrong, which is usually removing things that are harming me, adding things in that give me life, that help me, I had to relearn how to live. I had to relearn that sleep's important. So now I'm like a crazy woman. I got a whole routine when it comes to bedtime. I got my little meditation app. I mean, I just got this whole thing. Like, do not get in the way of me and my sleep. As a matter of fact, I was keeping my little grandbaby. I have a brand new grandbaby, by the way. I'll show you his picture after class. He's so cute. I got to keep him the other night while his parents were in a wedding. And they came back from like the rehearsal dinner and then they were going out for the after party. And I'm like, so what time will you be back? Like, I'm thinking to myself, am I going to have to stay up till 11? Till midnight? And I remember when a time when I could have cared less. But now I'm like, Granny needs her sleep, like for sure. So prioritizing sleep, prioritizing the things that really give us health. One night of sleep will elevate your stress hormones and affect you for 48 hours following one bad night of sleep. And what I started to say a minute ago, if you sleep 6.5 hours a night, you should be getting more like 7.5 to 8. So just an hour less takes 6 years off your life. Is that not crazy? So sleep is really important, which is cool because we have lots of sleep tools in the toolbox. But you need to be sleeping, whatever that takes. My go back to fall without fear involves a lot of things that are hard. Changing your diet is hard. Reducing your stress. I know some of you are like, no, you don't know what I'm going through right now. I know. We all have hard lives and things in our lives that are difficult, right? Going to the gym every day isn't easy. Until you get in the routine of it, you make that a routine. Eating good food, you have to sort of do it for a while. Fail at it. Make it a routine. None of that's easy. I do have one easy button, which is why I love to teach about oils and supplements. Getting a starter kit. Getting the tools that can help your body be stronger. That really is an easy part. When I found this... when I found Young Living 7 years ago, girls? How long have we been doing this now? 6, 7? I don't know. When I found it years ago, it was all new to me. And because I was in the medical field, it all sounded like kind of witchcraft or whatever. I'm like, whatever, you're going to rub an oil on and feel better? Like, I don't get that. So I was super skeptical until I got a starter kit, actually began using it, actually began drinking Ningxia Red, which we'll talk about, and I started to have amazing results. Now, at the same time, I was having this awakening, like, I don't want to be on 75 medications. I'm too young to start down that path. So I gave up Diet Coke. I started making lifestyle changes, too. I got my starter kit, and I was just blown away. As somebody who had spent her whole life training in traditional medicine, I'd never heard of any of this stuff. I'm like, what do you mean you rub it on and it helps you somehow? Now, I totally believed that you could take a pill and that somehow helps you. But it was a big stretch for me when I first started doing this. And I have had incredible results in my life. As a matter of fact, I got somebody into oils that's a friend of mine, and this was last year, and she got into our Facebook group and started going back to all these really old videos. So she sends me a screenshot of a video. Several of you have done that too. Thank you very much. She sent me a screenshot of an old video, like when I first started my journey. I look like 15 years older. If you look back at videos from 5-6 years ago, it's unbelievable to me how I have literally reverse aged by all of this stuff. Lifestyle, new supplements, oils, just being more aware of what we're putting in our bodies, what we're putting on our bodies, all of that. And yeah, so she's like, oh my gosh, is that going to happen for me? I'm like, yes, just keep at it. It will. And it is what I notice that, you know, with a lot of people that do this, their journey looks a lot like that. They just start becoming way aware of what they're doing, what they're putting on their bodies. They take responsibility for themselves. They don't just rely on, oh, there's a pill that'll fix that if I get my blood sugar out of whack. No, there's a way to fix that with diet. I don't want to take a pill to fix that. So I say all that to say, take your breaks where you can get them. So a lot of the journey is going to be hard. I'm not going to lie. I'm still learning. Like, I'm still figuring it out for myself. And I still feel like I'm coming up with routines that help me as my body changes, as my hormones change. But the easy button is to grab a starter kit, get these oils. The reason they're so powerful is because God made them. It's the difference in eating food he made and food he didn't make. Using things that he made from nature. And if you look at a lot of our medicines that I used when I was practicing medicine, a lot of those come from plants. So that should have been my first clue. Like, he probably kind of knows what he's doing when he makes plants that have medicinal qualities, right? And so he put all this stuff in the environment. The other thought that I love to think about is he wouldn't have left us here without what we needed. He loves us, you know? So he puts on the earth things that help us, things that we can use that really give us life and help us. And when you get the oils are kind of in a way magical because they're so potent. So one drop of essential oil, maybe you could pass around. Do you have Kid Power? Candace, does anybody have Kid Power?
I did.
Okay. It's my current favorite oil. So when you get your starter kit, add Kid Power onto it. Actually, it kind of smells like Valor, which is in the starter kit. So if you just want to get the kit, that's fine too. But Kid Power is my personal favorite right now. And when you put that oil on, in one drop of that oil, there are 300 different components, different little molecules that have an action in our bodies. Some of the actions that they perform are to open up our cells, to deliver oxygen. Isn't it amazing? Sorry you guys can't smell it where you are. Maybe you can. But pass an oil around wherever you are in your home class. Just pass something around. But as soon as you rub that on your skin and you smell that, within 20 seconds, that oil is in the amygdala of your brain, the part of your brain where your hormones and your memories and your emotions are stored. So oils have an amazing benefit for emotions, and I think we can all use some emotional help. One of the things that I noticed after I shared oils with all my friends was everybody got nicer and happier. I'm like, so if you have any crabby friends, invite them to watch this video. They will get happier. Oils have a really just amazing, potent, natural way to help us just feel better. One of the ways they do that actually is by blocking cortisol. So they block the stress response. So I know a lot of us feel stress, and I can tell days when I'm more stressed than others. I find myself like, anybody else ever hover over their diffuser like, give it to me, give me all the oils. So they're really good at helping with the stress response. They're also just good at detoxing your body. So all of those toxins that are in our foods, that are in the candles, that are in the cleaners, I mean, you're going to get rid of all those eventually. But they help remove those toxins from your body so that they don't just stay there and then eventually cause problems for you. Oils, obviously, because it's an essential oil that you can smell, are amazing for the respiratory system. So every single day, this morning I was at the gym and I was dousing eucalyptus, breathe again, like all the breathing oils before I do a workout. I usually do it at night before I sleep, just like I just want to breathe, I just want to breathe really well. I will give you this tip. I read a whole book last year on breathing, a whole book. If you haven't read this book, you should add it to your list. It's called Breath by James Nestor. That book is amazing, and it talks about the power of breathing and the power of nose breathing. So if you tend to be a person who breathes through your mouth, I challenge you to become aware of your breathing and breathe through your nose as much as possible. They have done studies on this with people with stuff as serious as like scoliosis. And with breathing exercises and breath work through the nose, there are studies that show you can straighten your spine with breathing. And that book was so powerful to me because it's something that we just take for granted. But if you think about the scriptures, you know, the breath is the life. So of course it's important, but thinking about how we do it and how we're just unconscious of, you know, we're often breathing through our mouth and we're not conscious of it. So really making a point to breathe through your nose. I do this every night before bed, and I take several good deep breaths through my nose. It's almost like training my body to breathe through my nose during the night. You can even buy, go look this up on Amazon. You'll know that Miss Edie is crazy, but this is true. People who are really into this, you can buy mouth tape that it kind of, so you can tape your mouth shut to train your body. Yeah, to train your body to breathe through your nose at night. And it's really, really powerful. All of my friends who text me like, oh, I'm not feeling well, you know, almost always one of the things I will say to them is please make sure you're breathing through your nose. Really good deep breaths in and out through your nose, because just becoming conscious of it, you'll notice how much you don't do it. So that's really important. And the oils are so powerful at that. The starter kit itself, I would encourage you, especially with kids going back to school or even for yourselves, to come up with a morning and a night routine. So whatever your morning routine might be with your oils, I just feel like coming up with a routine is especially good for kids. So, and this changes for us from time to time, but right now, because Thomas just started back to school, every morning we do Thieves on the feet, on the bottom of the feet. Thieves comes in your starter kit. It is an oil that is amazing at boosting your immune system. So I've been doing Thieves on both feet before I put the socks on. Now, Thieves is a hot oil, so it's often good for kids, especially to put it on the feet. And then you just put their socks on and they won't touch their hands to it and then, you know, get it in their eyes or something like that. And then I do Kid Power for sort of emotional support, helping him concentrate at school. Kid Power, the one you just put on, is a great oil for focus and emotional support. So I do those two every morning, and then we put his socks on. And here's the interesting thing, you guys. This is why I love oil so much. As a person who, you know, wasn't ever trained in this, that time that we spend in the morning, you know, I'm sitting there, I got his little feet on my lap, and I'm, you know, rubbing his feet and putting his socks on, like just that extra little touch that oils often drive us to do that we might not do otherwise. That just extra touch. I think I read that kids need 8 encouraging touches a day, hugs or kisses or whatever. And, you know, I think about that often, like how many days when my older kids were little did they go without 8 touches? Like, I just think of that. Like, I want to give them those touches. Now, we were all in a hotel on Friday that we think had mold in it, so we all kind of got weird, like, head stuffiness. And so I've been using a lot of RC on all of us, RC like all over the chest. There is an oil, it's a respiratory oil, but there's an oil in the starter kit called Raven that you can use. But when Thomas first came to live with us, he had a lot of allergies. He lived in a place that had a lot of mold, and he had a ton of allergies. So as soon as we got back from that hotel, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like the old him. He was just all stuffy again. So RC, you know, all over his chest and back has just helped so much. He's basically fine now. So I am just so grateful to have tools. Like, as soon as we all realized, like, oh my gosh, I think there was mold in this place, I knew what to do. I got an arsenal of stuff to do to help us. And you don't have to feel, it takes away some of the fear. It takes away some of the, oh my gosh, I got to run to the doctor again. I can't tell you how long it's been since I've done that. because I just have so many tools at my disposal. He gets a little stomach virus. I got an oil for that, and they help. They're amazing. He gets, congestion or a little ear pain. I got stuff to use for that. It's not to say that you never need to go. It's just to say that now you have some tools that you can use. And I know people often feel overwhelmed because they feel like, well, how will I know? Have y'all ever wondered that? Like, well, how will I know which one to use? Well, here's what I can guarantee you. Grab your starter kit today. This happens every time. And then I might see you 3 weeks from now, a month from now, 6 weeks from now at another class, and I'll hear people talking about, well, I just put joy oil on for that, and then I use this for that, and then I did that. And it's like, yeah, you're so worried that you won't know what to do, but it's so fascinating that they work that you'll just do a bunch of research. You'll find yourself like Google searching, what is good for this? You'll find a bunch of answers. You'll try it. It'll work. You'll call somebody and go, oh my gosh. My sister used to do that all the time because I strong-armed her. I actually convinced her to buy a starter kit, sight unseen. I'm like, I'll tell you later. Go to this website, buy this thing. She's like, okay. And she did. And she got it in the mail, and she's like, okay, now what? I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure it out together. But we used to call each other all the time, like, oh my gosh, I tried this for this, and it really worked. But you have tools, and you have tools that are safe. And you have tools that even though we might be using that oil for respiratory care, it has so many other benefits. Detoxing your body, delivering oxygen, opening up your cell membranes. It just has so many other benefits. It's one of those things, and I bet everybody here who already is on the journey will agree. You wish you had it 20 years ago. You wish you had it when your kids were little. You wish you had, don't you say that all the time? I'm like, ugh, why didn't I know about this before? But the good news is you're here now, and no better time than the present to do it. The other thing, besides just the amazing benefits of the oils that we have, is we have so many products infused with oils. So when I was practicing medicine, I seriously, if you were ever one of my patients, I kind of stand by my word, actually. I was going to say, I'm sorry I said this, but I kind of stand by my word. I would tell my patients, they would say, do I need to take supplements? And I would go, yeah, that's just expensive urine. Like your body, you're just going to pee it out. You probably don't really need it. And I thought that because I had been a supplement junkie and I could never really tell that it was doing anything. Here's what I promise you with Young Living supplements. You will know they're working. You will feel better. You start taking probiotics, you'll go, oh, I'm digesting differently. This is interesting. You take enzymes, you can tell. You take supplements for sleep, they work. And one of the reasons that our supplements are so powerful and work so well is because they're infused with oils, and oils, remember, open up the cells. So they open up the cells so that the supplement, the vitamin, the mineral, whatever, can get in there. So now I'm one of those crazy people with like 4 of those Lazy Susans, those clear Lazy Susans from the Container Store with all of my supplements. My supplements, I feel like when I open that cabinet, like the angels sing. And anybody who comes to my house with anything, I'm like, oh, I got something you got to try.
That's a good feeling to have those there.
It is. It is such peace. And I mean, there's some of ours that I feel like are just must-haves, and I'm going to share with you what I keep in my arsenal for respiratory season. And some of it's Young Living and some of it isn't. I mean, I've just done some research and found ones that I really love. And if they're Young Living, great. And if I need to go somewhere else and get it, I'm great with that too. But I'll share with you kind of what Stevie and I do. But we are supplement junkies, and it really shows. Like the amount of times in the past that we would be sick or that we would need help, I just can't remember the last time that what we had in our arsenal didn't work. We just have stuff that works. So I'll share that with you too. We also have all kinds of other products. So lotions, and we've got some household. Are they making household cleaner, Candace? No. Okay. Is that the backpack spray? that is our household cleaner. So that's one of the things that I would add right away is Thieves Household Cleaner, because it's an all-natural cleaner. It's made from Thieves essential oil, and it's a concentrate. So you add it a little bit to an empty spray bottle and then just fill it with water. It's the cheapest cleaner there is and so amazing. And we have so many products like that. We have laundry soap, we have dish soap, we have lotions, we have makeup, we have skincare. Our skincare is my absolute favorite. Some of our makeup is my absolute favorite. We just have amazing products. So you can start slowly but surely just replacing the things that you have in your house right now that are toxic, and it won't take that long. It's really not that bad. You start with a diffuser. With your starter kit, you get a diffuser. Oh, I think it's still on. Are we still live? So it makes it easy for you to do the switch out. You don't have to say, oh, I got to find a clean version of a dish soap, or I've got to find a clean version. It just makes it easy, because as you get to wanting to replace that thing, you just find what Young Living has. And so my home is filled with it. And it just brings me so much peace to know that what I'm putting in and on our bodies is not damaging our hormones, not giving us asthma or whatever. I think I'll mention a couple more things, and then I'll show you my stash. One of the things that you will get the most bang for your buck for in Young Living is Ningxia Red. When you get a starter kit, you get 2 packages of it. This is our super juice drink. So if you ever, I know my mother-in-law used to take one, and I think it was called noni juice, and then then cherry juice was big for a while. All of those super juice drinks have some benefits. But if you look at their profile up against Ningxia Red blows them all away. If you look at the graph of how much antioxidants Ningxia Red has comparatively, it's just so much higher. This is made from Ningxia wolfberries that they get from a province near the Yellow River in China. And it has also, so it has not just the juice, but it has the pulp of the fruit, and it's different things, several other different fruits in there, plus essential oils. And because it's a whole food supplement, it doesn't boost your blood sugar, because a lot of people are concerned, I don't know if I should drink a juice. This one does not. For anybody that I've ever talked to, as a matter of fact, it has protective benefits for insulin and blood sugar, and tends to lower hemoglobin A1C. But the thing that I love about it most is it's probably reduced the inflammation in my body by 75-80%. It's so powerful at reducing your body's inflammation. So I know that when I started doing oils, I thought they were weird. My husband for sure thought they were weird. He's like, I am not rubbing that stuff on me. But he would agree to drink this. And so after 2 or 3 weeks of just drinking this, he's like, wow, that stuff really works. I'm like, yeah. So again, you're used to trying things from other companies, and you're like, well, I don't know if did that really work? Does that really help? You won't feel that way. You'll take this, you'll drink this for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and you'll go, I don't know, I feel some better. Then here's what you'll notice if you go off of it. That's when you notice what it was doing. So very powerful food supplement. This is probably, I would say, next to the starter kit, the thing that you need to try next. Okay, really quick, I think what I might do, Kelly, is have you either, all of the supplements for the protocol for the virus is online. It's on a graphic. So I think we'll post that in the group, because I don't want to go over everything. Do you see what I'm saying? But I will show you this. So let me just do a few. Let me do a few of my favorites. So this is what my husband and our family kind of does to just keep ourselves healthy. So this is our Super C. Young Living's vitamin C is amazing. One pill has 1.5 grams of C. So I'm usually taking 2 to 4 of these a day, depending on. Now, what I tend to do with supplements, and this is what I would recommend for you, don't take them every day. Take them 4 days a week, 5 days a week. Give your body a little break. And then depending on how you're doing, do you need more immune support? So when we first got exposed to mold, I took like 6 grams in one day. And then later that night, took another high dose. Later the next day, took another high dose. But then I just go back to my normal dose till I'm, feeling all better again. So just use some discernment. But our Super C is my favorite of all the C's I've tried. The other thing that I will tell you is, I would say most important on the list is vitamin D. I'm going to show you 2 different kinds. I take very high dose vitamin D because my body, even though I take vitamin D almost every day, doesn't really absorb it that well. So I buy this brand, which is Thorne. This is 10,000 units. So I'll take a loading dose of this once a week or so. I'll take 40, 50,000 units. And then every day I chew the Super D from Young Living. These are 1,000 units each. So I do a loading dose for myself and then a little bit. Now you can have your vitamin D level checked, and you should. It's the most important hormone related to the respiratory virus. So it's worth getting checked. But at the very least, just take some D, okay? Get outside, get some natural D from the sun, and then take some D. The next thing I want to mention is zinc. So you probably heard this if you've looked at protocols for what you should take during respiratory season. I like this. This is Garden of Life. This is raw zinc. So Stevie and I take this. I usually take 2 of these a day. But then I love these zinc lozenges. Have you ever heard of zinc lozenges? So I'm going to pass these around. I want you to just try one. They taste pretty good. And a lot of times if you're taking something in your mouth and dissolving it right near your mucous membranes, that's really good and powerful. That's another reason why I like to use thieves oil in my mouth. So you want to get some of your supplements like right here. I like chewing vitamin D for the same reason. Zinc for the same reason. You get local absorption right around here. Am I making that clear? 2 others that you've probably read about is quercetin and N-acetylcysteine. These are both great supplements for respiratory season. These are not Young Living, and we will put this in the. We'll put this in there for you. Is the zinc Young Living? No, we don't have zinc, Miss Aline. So N-acetyl, I think that's from Pure Encapsulations, N-acetylcysteine, and then quercetin. And you can look up, we'll post the protocol for how to take it, as a preventive. The other thing I love is homeopathic remedies. Do you guys do these homeopathic remedies? These work really well if you start to come down with something. So Zicam that you can just get at the grocery store, really good. Again, it's a lozenge that you take locally so it gets right in your mucous membranes. This is my absolute favorite homeopathic, and you can't really see the name of it, I don't think. Do you have this one, Kelly? Because now I don't have my glass. Let me look at my glass. I think it's from Boron. Yes, boron, oscillococcinum. It's little pellets, so you can open this thing up. This is really good for kids if you feel like you're coming down with something. And it's got little pellets in there, and they taste good. So as soon as Tom got exposed to mold, I did all this stuff. He'll take this. He'll do the zinc lozenge. And then, so I talked about Zicam. The other thing that's recommended is melatonin, and this is Young Living's melatonin. I love it. Candace loves it probably more than me. But this is MU Pro, so if you don't have that supplement, this is a really good one. Again, it helps you sleep and also has some good effects in respiratory season. I think that's about it. I said thieves oil. Another thing that I keep on hand is glutathione. Glutathione is a very powerful anti-inflammatory. So if your body starts to have a lot of inflammation, you can use glutathione. Aline loves MB Pro. I know, isn't it good? So I'll let you look at all of these. We'll post the little, we will post the graphic in there that kind of lists the dosing and all of that. Yeah, thank you, Kels. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you. Anybody have any questions?
I started putting silver in my neti pot.
Oh, Sandra.
In my neti pot.
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned colloidal silver. That's something that I always keep on hand just for everything. But Sandra has been putting it in her neti pot. Interesting. I have to try this. For those of you who like neti pots. Exactly.
Every day.
Every day?
Every morning. That's part of my morning is morning.
Oh, I feel convicted. I feel convicted. Do I need this as part of my wellness regimen?
I will actually take something with me places. If I don't have my neti pot, I have this sweet stuff and I'll take it with me because I'm so
Wow. Oh, awesome. Yes, colloidal silver. Okay, well, that is all I have. If you have any questions, here at the Pink Pig, we're going to do the 2 make and takes. What are y'all making? Backpack spray and a wellness roller. And the girls have already gone live in the Facebook group and done them. So you can go in there and make those together if you're gathered at somebody's house, or just do it on your own. You can watch the video, but we're going to make our make and takes now. And oh, can I show them that, Candace?
And we posted this in there. So
Okay.
tell them to look for it.
Okay, so this they posted in the group, which are the recipes for the back to school make and takes. So make sure you look for that. I think Kelly posted it earlier today. All right, you guys, thank you so much. I'll see you next time.